right, ladies and gentlemen, we head to the hardwood today with our guest. She is a guard for the Western Mustangs, who currently sit in third place in the West Division of the OUA with an 8-6 record. She is currently averaging 18 points, 3 assists, and 8 rebounds through 15 games. Hey, how are you? Please welcome Ariane Saumure to the BTB podcast. How you doing?
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me. I'm good. How are you?
We're great. We're
Jim,
great.
you killed it, buddy. You killed
I
it.
we got through it. We got through it. No,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I do admit it's one of the toughest names I've had to announce on the podcast, but I love the challenge, so that's good. Um, Ariane, how's everything going on in London? What's up right now with the team and everything going on with school?
Yeah, things are good. In London, we're currently in the second half of our season. We have about 8 games left before playoffs start. So, just trying to finish the season off with a bang and hopefully get 8 more dubs because our track record right now is not the greatest, but
Mhm.
it's looking up for us hopefully after last weekend. So
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And I was going to ask you later on in the episode, but how do you find the balance playing? We've had OUA athletes on before, balancing school and playing a sport. How have you found that?
honestly, like first year was definitely a challenge. It's definitely a learning curve, and being able to time manage is a huge and very important skill you need to have, especially as a student athlete. But I love being busy, and I thrive in stress, and I don't know, that's just the type of person that I am, I guess. And I find that when I don't have a lot on the go, I get kind of bored. So
Hmm.
the hecticness of it all is I love it. So
Good
yeah.
Okay.
stuff.
And we always go back to the start. So how did it all start for you, and what made you, pick up a basketball for the first time?
So actually, my parents put me in soccer and gymnastics from
Okay.
age, and then I think I was in grade 5, and my mom used to play basketball herself, and she kind of said out with gymnastics, and she wanted to put me into basketball and maybe follow into her footsteps. I know she played varsity for Ottawa Gigi's actually for her
Oh
rookie year.
wow.
So grade 5 is where it kind of started for me. I had no basketball IQ, didn't know how to dribble a ball, making layups. I had no idea how to do that. So it was I was definitely super raw. But Coach John DeZormo actually took me under his wing. So that's how
Okay.
I started, yeah.
Well, very cool. That is late, so it's unreal how quick you picked it up. That's wicked. And was there a moment for you, like throughout the whole time growing up playing basketball, that you wanted to pursue it at a competitive and high level?
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually, I stuck with soccer and basketball for most of my high school years. I used to play in the summer with Marilyn Botson's team and played for Brian Ashton as well. You probably have heard
Yep.
about
Oh
those
yeah.
in the city of Sudbury for sure. And I would play basketball when I wasn't playing soccer, and they kind of go hand in hand, like off-season sports. And my whole life, I was told that I would have to pick one, and my soccer coaches would try to get me to pick soccer, and then my basketball coach would tell me like, oh, like screw soccer, like play basketball.
Yeah.
And I think it's by the time I was in grade 10, I finally made my decision. I quit soccer and kind of decided to pursue basketball, and I really wanted to play post-secondary. So I think that's when I kind of knew that basketball was where I was gonna get into.
Gotcha. Okay. And have you kicked the soccer ball around ever since?
No, honestly, and
Yeah.
I kind of regret it because I actually have a dual sport athlete on my team. Her name is Avery Thomas, and she when she was growing up, all her coaches told her the same thing that they told me, like, oh, you have to pick one, like you can't do
Yeah.
both. And she's thriving in both. And if I could go back, I would definitely do what she's doing because soccer and basketball are both great
For
sports, and
sure.
I loved both equally. So
Hmm.
Okay. Interesting. So all the kids out there keep playing those sports. You
And
right, Tom?
I thought you were asking that, Alex, to recruit her for your men's league team in soccer in the
Well,
summer.
co-ed team, but yes, yeah. We
Yeah, I
always
know.
we always need some superstars. So if you ever want to kick the ball
That'd
around,
that'd be a
we're
you
always
thing to
looking.
do. You would ask her, not even me. He hasn't even asked me
That's a
yet. So,
that's a fact. That's a fact. uh,
uh,
good stuff. And what did, like, I guess we call it minor hockey here, in hockey terms, but like what did junior basketball look like for you in Northern Ontario? I believe it's Jam
mhm.
that's like the competitive team is. So what it looked like playing basketball here in Northern Ontario?
Yeah, so I played for Jam since I was in grade 5. And obviously coming from the north, competition is definitely there's not as many options, not as many teams that you can play. So we've had to commute since I was very young, me and my brother, to go to Toronto and places like that to play some good competition. But Jam is was a team that we competed in the OBAs. I'm not sure actually if OBAs is still a thing, because dual prep and those types of leagues have taken off in prep schools. So that's definitely what's more predominant now. But I had a great time playing OBA because doing that actually allowed me to play basketball for my high school, McDonald Quartier. So I had the chance to go to NASA and OFSA, and I think that those things are really awesome, and it's part of the whole high school experience. So maybe I wasn't playing at like the dual level, or I didn't immerse myself completely in my sport like most people do when they're playing at prep schools, but I got the high school experience, and I'm really happy that I did. And if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, for sure. Love that. And was prep schools like an option for you growing up, like, or was it just always jam in high school at that time?
Yeah, I think that they were starting to transition like into that type of prep school fad when I was in grade 11.
Okay.
And I think that when I was in grade 11 that like Llewellyn Prep started to form, and the league was kind of getting bigger in that sense. But I never really considered it because to me, I was happy where I was, and my French language at McDonald Quartier in my high school is also very important. And not really sure if prep schools are like predominantly French or if it's French immersion, but
Gotcha.
regardless,
Right.
it's not.
For sure, Mac Jack. Gotta love Mac Jack. And did you find there was a big jump, like from playing jam to high school? Like, was there a big level of skill difference there?
Definitely. I came from a smaller school, so when we would go to OFSA and NASA, it was like single A caliber, and
Right.
always like a few good players on every team, but it's definitely players aren't as polished as other bigger schools and double A, triple A, stuff like that. But no, I had a great time.
Yeah, good stuff. Awesome. And what would you say like the potential for basketball here is in Northern Ontario? You have yourself, Noah Lapierre, Sam Cooper. Like there's a lot of people coming out of Sudbury playing basketball now. Kilgannon's another one, more dunking, but not basketball,
Hey,
but
yeah,
per se.
she's
But
she's got a girl from Sudbury on her team too, Jim. Melanie
there you go.
Fouché, I believe
That's
too,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So, I mean, what do you see the potential to be? And if you could change anything to the system, what would it be?
mhm.
I think that it's really great, and I think that the basketball community definitely is expanding a little bit. I think that coming from the north, like you have less exposure, and I think that I don't know, like I haven't been in Sudbury for a while, but I know George Sores has his own league, or he has his own type of clinic, and then you have Coach Beers as well, who's doing his Northern Lights Academy, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
But no, hopefully it's expanding, because I think that there's a lot of skill up north, and just because you're from a northern community, I don't think that you should be excluded from opportunities and maybe the exposure that you could be getting if you were coming from a bigger city. But I definitely think that the north has a lot to offer, and there's definitely a lot of talent that has come from the north, and that probably is on the rise. So
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
love it.
mhm. And moving on to Western, how did you land there? And were there any other schools that you were in between? And really, what made you choose Western in the end?
Yeah, so when I was being recruited, I guess I was looking at Ottawa U for playing for the GGs, Western, and then possibly staying at Laurentian and playing for Coach Jason. But
Hmm.
I think I knew from a pretty young age. I think I was in grade 6. I was at a basketball tournament in Guelph, and my dad still remembers this, and he always tells me the story. He's like, "I just remember you turned to me when we were driving in the Guelph campus, and you're like, I am leaving school for post-secondary education." Like, and I've never really been homesick when I would leave Sudbury, I guess when I was younger. So I always knew that I wanted to get out and kind of expand my wings a little bit. Um, but honestly, the difference for me was I do have family in London. I have an aunt and uncle, and they're super great. So I knew
Okay.
that I would have that support. It would make the transition a little bit easier. And honestly, I think it was the team and the coach that I had really clicked with, comparing both Ottawa and Western. However, if I could go back and knowing what I know now, definitely it's about like the French culture and my French language. It's not as big of a priority. The French community is not as big in London,
Right.
whereas in Ottawa, that's that's something that's
Just
huge. So
dominant. Yeah,
so
Yeah.
for
maybe
sure.
maybe if I could go back, things would be different. But I love where I am now, and I've had a great experience, and I've made a lot of great connections, great friends. So I guess I wouldn't change it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure, for sure. And I mean, Western London, just fantastic university and city to be at for sure.
Hmm.
Lots of good times for sure. Yeah, yeah.
How was it making a jump from competitive basketball to the university level? Is there a big gap?
I wish. I think that the hardest part would probably be like the mental aspect of it and just like having confidence and talking yourself down because when you really break it down, you're playing against the same people, but you're growing up and you're
Right.
in university. Like that's the only difference.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's one thing in my first year. I wish somebody would have just told me to chill out. Like you got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the jump skill wise, yes, you have players that could be 5 years older than you and they have experience, but I wouldn't say that the jump is as big as um people say it is or as maybe people think that it might be.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Cool. Next
So,
question I got was obviously your first year was immediately halted due to COVID and was obviously very hard for everybody to stay motivated and especially athletes. Like, what did you do during that time to stay sharp with obviously, not much going on in the world?
Yeah, so our season actually ended like 2 weeks before COVID hit and all that. So I got to experience like a little bit of just being a student and having fun with friends and being able to go out maybe a little bit more because we don't have practices. But COVID was definitely a challenge. And um, I know with basketball, like courts aren't always accessible, but for the summer, I definitely made a huge effort to find outdoor courts and to
hmm
get with some of my friends and just kind of play pickup and work on that because I know you guys probably feel the same way. Like playing your sport is a huge outlet, and
Yep.
sometimes you need that to de-stress or if things in your life are going south in other aspects. I don't know, like your sport is something that you always have to blow off some steam, I guess. So
for sure.
it
Hmm.
was definitely a challenge, but um, we did what we could, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
And Shimino, I know you're gonna chime in here, but my spidey senses were tingling when she
Yeah,
said
yeah, yeah,
pickup
yeah.
and when
Go.
she
Yeah.
said pickup. So we gotta have some sort of content piece here, Chim, and do a little 2v2. I don't know who you want to
That'd
get
be
as your
electric.
backcourt. Me and Chim as a duo. Ariane is like elite defending, outside shooting. We get to the free throw line. Who would you,
Rebounding,
who
rebounding.
rebounded? Who would be
On
your
lock.
partner? And do you think you'd be able to take down me and Alex in 2v2 basketball?
Oh,
That'd be it.
absolutely. Come on.
Ah,
That's a fact. Yeah.
I think that I would honestly have to pick my best friend Arielle Duyet. She's my
okay.
ride guy. Like I've played basketball with her since elementary school, I think, or grade 7 and 8. So middle school, I guess. And she's still playing for Laurentian. So
Hmm.
Okay.
my little shooting guard. So definitely would have to put out the
Okay, Chim,
floor.
perfect. You guys can guard each other at the point guard position. Me and we'll be the sharpshooters in the wing. We got it.
Oh
I
man,
love
Let's
I
get
love
it.
it.
Bring it on.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Good stuff. And you just mentioned that obviously Laurentian. I believe you got a chance to share the court actually with Ariel. Me, I don't know if she was actually playing though, but you did get to play against Laurentian in Sudbury. So
Hmm.
what was that like coming home crowd, playing for the visiting team?
Yeah, so my first year is when I played Laurentian at home, so in front of like my friends, family. Laurentian court, we played on that court so many times. So it was nice
Yeah.
to be, especially after I think it had been 4 months since I was in London. But we actually played Laurentian this year at Alumni Hall in London, and that was nice to see some familiar faces and to see Coach Jason Hurley and Kayla DeShala, who's also on the coaching staff now. So um, it was nice. It's just always fun seeing people from the north who we kind of all grew up in the same program, and we're just older now, and it was really nice.
Oh, good stuff.
And your individual game has been obviously elite this year, as Chimino rhymed off the stats in the intro. What would you say has been the key to success for you?
Oh God. Honestly,
Confidence?
yeah. I think that's a huge one. I've definitely come a
Hmm.
long way with confidence, and I think being more selfish, especially as being an upper year on my team now. I'm the old player now. I'm the one with the experience, and I'm kind of the one that my coach looks at. So Definitely confidence, but I think that the biggest thing I would say is playing with heart and grit, because no matter how good or bad your offensive game is going, if you're on a slump, if you can't hit, your defensive game and effort, energy, heart, and grit is something that you can always bring. So I think that's what I really pride myself on. So definitely heart and a little bit of confidence.
I
Yeah,
like that.
love that. Good stuff. And describe to the listeners here, if we're walking into Alumni Hall, coming to watch the Mustangs play, what are we expecting to see from Ariane?
I'm just gonna preface this by saying that we're having like complete renovations in the summer. So just gonna start off by saying that. But it actually is the original floors from like decades ago. I think it might be from the 60s. So the floor is not that great. But it's like an old amphitheater.
Cool.
You have a stage and they put bleachers up there sometimes if we have like events, like our
Cool.
ship for the tour or a senior night. Yeah, it's not your typical gym. Probably not what you're expecting. A lot of students actually don't know that there's a gym in Alumni Hall because there are classrooms and stuff like that. But
Cool.
yeah, there definitely will be renovations. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Cool. And your individual game too. Like let's say we're coming to see the game and see you play. What are we expecting to see when you take the court?
Definitely a lot of competitiveness. I hate losing, and I feel like you gotta have that fire. And especially with
100%.
basketball, I'm the shortest one on my team. I'm 5'4". So you have to make up for that height deficit somehow, and I think I make up for it and just pride and effort. Sprinting up and down the court so that's probably what you could expect if you were to
Cool.
see.
10,
Love
10,
that.
10, 10, and 10. 10 rebounds, 10 assists.
Yeah. Lock
Yeah.
lock on the FanDuel for sure. Are you vocal too on the court? I'm assuming with all the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like I kind of have to be like my team and my coach kind of I'm co-captain with this other girl Brett on my team, and you have to be vocal, especially like rookies coming in, and you have to hold people accountable. And by doing that, yes, you have to talk the talk, walk the talk, whatever the expression is. But being vocal, and I think that's super important. And you kind of have to lead the way, and being vocal and talking and sometimes even yelling at people, I think is necessary, because we all love each other at the end of the day as people. But when you walk on that court, like, it's no hard feelings, and it's the game of basketball. So
for sure.
definitely.
Just like
You
it's just
nailed
like
on
me.
it.
Yeah, it's just like me and you now, Alex. We're like
That's right. When I expect more from you, I'm
you
giving
yell
it
at
to
me.
you. That's a
Give it to,
fact.
but you still love me at the end of the day.
At
Yeah,
the
I know.
end of the day, I'm gonna love you for sure.
That's good, though,
That
'cause
actually reminds me. Yeah, it reminds
he's
me
not
too.
yelling at you, it's because he cares and he wants to see you do better.
You're
Oh,
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It actually reminds me Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. Tough, like one of the toughest guys to play with, but he came from a good place. Just wanted to win. That's what it's all about. On that topic, are you Jordan or LeBron on the debate?
I think Jordan. I'm not that big of a LeBron fan, just because every time like the Raptors, like in past years, would get to the playoffs, LeBron James would just like
Yeah, it's so
out
true.
of the running. So it was just frustrating, but they're both very good players, obviously. But I would definitely have to side with Michael Jordan.
I love that. Yeah, we're a Jordan pod here as well. And on the topic too of the Raptors, do you remember where you were when the Raptors won, and take us through what it felt like to watch that happen?
Yeah, I was in the living room with my parents and my brother, and we were watching on the big screen. It was awesome. It was crazy. I
Yeah.
wasn't there obviously, but that definitely would have been an experience. The bars in Toronto,
Yeah.
that must have been crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And in terms of just like the locker room, characters in the locker room, who's on the aux? What type of tunes are you guys bumping?
We love
in the locker
asking
room
this question.
pregame? One of my favorite questions to ask. Yeah.
Depends on our mood. So sometimes we have our Afrobeats playlist and we kind of like lifting to that. But then sometimes we have a bunch of everything, like your typical Drake. I think our team song is Valerie.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
that one's
love
a
that.
good one. And we have a ritual actually. Every time my coach comes in after a team talk, like right before warm-ups, we'll play a Kesha song. And he would never admit it, but I know that he eats that up. And
Nice.
it's kind of it's like our team ritual this year. So there's a little bit
Uh,
of everything, pop, rap. Yeah,
Love it. And is there a designated win song, like first song that comes on in the room after a dub?
Valerie.
Valerie, yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You mentioned team rituals. Do you, on an individual standpoint, have any pregame superstitions that you follow? Like, I'm thinking way back to when I was playing hockey, I had a few, but do you have any on an individual standpoint?
Yes, absolutely. I have to start my day off like having coffee, Starbucks coffee. That's like an absolute thing. Um,
What's the order?
it depends on my mood. Sometimes it's a vanilla blonde
Oh,
latte or iced vanilla blonde latte with sweet cream cold foam. So it kind of depends.
Love it.
Um, I have to make my first bucket before warm-ups, or else the game's not gonna go well. And I actually have a note that my vet would read before every game, and she sent me her screenshot. And now like that's kind of something that I adopted. It's kind of just like a list of bullet points of positive statements and just things to remind you that you should be confident and shoot the ball, and last year, breathe, relax, you're good. So I just like to read through that and really get in the mindset and just like, yeah, I got
Love
this.
that. Locked
Yeah.
in. Love that. That's amazing. Um, and future wise for you, I believe you're taking kin, right? At Western. Yeah, okay. Is there a plan maybe to go professional? What's the future looking like for you with basketball and just life in general?
Yeah, so I actually applied to med school. I'm
Oh,
graduating
amazing.
here. I'm fourth year, so I got some good news so far. I made it through to the interview round with NOSM, so
Awesome.
fingers crossed that that goes well. If I don't get into NOSM, I might just do a master's program either here or maybe Ottawa. Kind of maybe go that route, play for another 2 years or so, keep applying, try to maybe bump up my resume, get experience working in healthcare, do some of that stuff. And if med school just doesn't pan out, there's always the option of going overseas and traveling while I'm still young. Maybe Europe,
Love
get
it.
paid a little bit, but hopefully med school pans out. But if not, I'm staying hopeful, and everything happens for a reason.
For
So I'm
sure.
not gonna stress out. I'm just gonna see where the wind takes me.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, roll with the punches for sure. Well, but best of luck with that. That's
mhm.
huge.
Yeah,
And with
thank
that, actually, you mentioned travel. That'll be good because we got our fast five coming before we let you go. So it's
you.
5 rapid fire questions. Whatever comes to the top of your head, let it rip. And I'll send it off to Tom now.
Cool.
Okay. First one, favorite basketball player of all time.
I don't know why Debbie Black came to mind.
Okay.
Uh,
Love it.
I like that. Dream travel destination. Anywhere in the world where do you want to travel to?
Maui, Hawaii.
Oh. Favorite way to score in basketball.
3-pointer.
Oh yeah.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
I was just thinking floater, layup, and one. Yeah.
No,
Uh,
Trey. Yeah.
yeah, Trey. Favorite movie or show. I'm not sure if you're into the Netflix shows, but
I really like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
oh,
That's
Yeah,
an all-timer for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
classic. Yeah.
And favorite Subway restaurant.
Oh, that's a hard one. Um, I don't know why Topper's Pizza came to mind. We don't have Toppers in London, but that's like my go-to pizza place.
Love
Honestly,
it.
Tony V's. Tony V. Is it Tony V's? It's called.
Yeah,
Tony
yeah, yeah,
V's.
yeah, yeah,
Tony
yeah.
V's is really good too. They have good pasta.
No,
Yeah.
we're giving you toppers. That's the
I
first 94 episodes, 595 or first toppers.
Is it the first
No
toppers?
way.
Like Jim, it's got to be the first
Yeah,
toppers.
it's true. But I mean, toppers is a lock. Like, I
It
mean, if
is. It is a
late
lot.
night, whatever, you got the
Barbecue
gang
swirl,
together.
garlic bread and crust, whatever.
That's yeah,
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
good.
After the bar, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's a lock for sure. Awesome. Well, listen, Ariane, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and chatting with us. It's awesome just to get to know about your career, and we hope nothing but the best in the future, whether it's med school, whatever you do, nothing but the best, and hope you guys go on a deep playoff run here. We'll be cheering you on and keeping a close eye. So thanks again and best of luck.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you guys.
Awesome.